Welcome back to the hangar, fellas. This one I made for the US mains out there that are once again disappointed. Round RB and Combined Arms have become a staple War Thunder game mode. In many ways, it has overshadowed the original concept of War Thunder as an aviation-focused game. But when it comes to implementing ground ordnance for nations, it seems that the US always takes a backseat compared to the other nations. Don't get me wrong, the Walleye is great and all, but when you consider that the US developed the Paveway and the JDAM, but they get them last, it's not a very fun notion to think about. I really think the F-4E Phantom should have received the Paveway one with the PaveTac pod, but instead Gaijin opted for the AGM-62 Walleye for it. Hell, there's a plethora of pods the F-4E used aside from the PaveTac, and we already have the PavePenny modeled on the A-7D. There are so many platforms that the Paveway can be introduced to in the US tree that it's baffling when it's already introduced. They throw US a curveball and drop a Walleye on them. This on top of the US not getting a naval Phantom for the longest time. Anyway, before I start rambling on, let's talk about the F-15E Strike Eagle. Whether you know it as the F-15E, the Mud Hen, or simply Dark Gray, the F-15's up there is perhaps the most popular variant of the F-15, arguably shadowing the air superiority variant, the F-15 Eagle. We'll exclusively do the Strike Eagle for now, but I might do the F-15 Eagle in one of the vids when I tackle air superiority fighters. The F-15E Strike Eagle was born from an unofficial development at McDonnell Douglas. They saw a version of an F-15 as a multi-role strike fighter as a replacement for the F-111 and F-4 Phantoms in service that could perform deep strike and interdiction without the need for jammers or air support. The F-15 Eagle had some secondary ground strike capabilities that was almost never used. The second TF-15A prototype was used as demonstrator for the F-15E concept. Already fitted with the fast fuel tanks, the demonstrator was fitted with a PaveTac pod to guide smart bombs. The F-15E would finally have a chance in 1981 when the Air Force announced the dual-role fighter program intended to replace the F-111 and F-4 Phantom. It competed with the F-16XL, played for a different video, and the Panavia Tornado. However, the Tornado didn't have a proper air superiority capability as the Tornado ADV was considered more of an interceptor and not a proper air superiority fighter. Thus, it was not considered seriously. The competition between the F-16XL and F-15E was fierce and went on until 1984, when the USAF finally decided to declare the F-15E the winner. While the F-16XL boasted superior flight capabilities, the F-15E was chosen thanks to a cheaper development cost, around $200 million cheaper than the F-16XL. The first production F-15E was delivered in 1986, and the production continued well into 2001. The F-15E is also the most popular variant of the F-15 family, being the variant in service with the most notable operators of the F-15 Phantom such as the F-15I of Israel, F-15K Slam Eagle of South Korea, and the F-15SG of Singapore are all built on the Strike Eagle standard. The United States also decided to replace the F-15C and D with the F-15EX, a more definitive development of the F-15E and something I hope and I might never see get added in War Thunder. The F-15E is distinguished from the F-15 Eagle by its darker gray paint scheme that the USAF adopted when the F-15E was put into production. This led to the F-15E earning another nickname, Dark Gray, with the F-15C being called the Light Gray. The F-15 family, like the F-18, is now maintained and upgraded by Boeing after their merger in 1996. The F-15E Strike Eagle is a twin-seat supersonic-capable multi-role strike as it was intended as a replacement for the F-111 and F-4 Phantom. It was built around the requirements that it could get to do both their roles even better on the F-15 platform. As a derivative of the F-15 Eagle, it utilized the engine of the F-15, the Pratt & Whitney F-100 PW220 engine, the same engine on Block 25 and Block 32 variants of the F-16. It would eventually be upgraded to the F-100 PW229 alongside the Block 52 F-16s. Supporting two of these engines at 105.7 kilonewtons of thrust each, the F-15E achieves a thrust-to-weight ratio as high as 0.93. The Mudhen is fitted with conformal fuel tanks, originally called the Fast in its development stages, allowing it increased flight time. To quote those gringos,
I wish I had the gas just like a mud hen. To hang around that long is just a sin. And while you are TP and scoff, I'm doing loops and jacking off. I wish I had the gas just like a mud hen.
the capacity of the F-15E for lengthy sorties is well known in the Air Force. A special feature of the Strike Eagle is that the WSO has duplicate controls to fly the aircraft, something absent from previous two-seater aircraft like the F-14 and F-4. The F-15E was fitted with the AN/APG-70 X-band pulse Doppler radar. The APG-70 is a variant of the AN/APG-63 radar of the F-15 Eagle, while also fitted on the F-15I and F-15S of Israel and Saudi Arabia. The export versions were different, with the synthetic aperture radar performing better on USAF F-15Es. Many of the components of the APG-70 is shared by the F-18's APG-73 radar, while the computers and processors are more common with the APG-71 of the F-14. The APG-70 was replaced by the AN/APG-82 V1 of the Super Hornet, while retaining the APG-63's antenna. The radio frequency turntable filters on the new radar allow the F-15E to operate alongside jamming equipment without a loss in capability. To achieve the interdiction and strike fighter role, the aircraft is fitted with the ring laser gyroscope for its inertial navigation system. Coupled with this, it uses the AN/AAQ-13 navigation pod with a terrain-following radar for low-altitude flying. The AN/AAQ-13 can be coupled with the autopilot system for hands-free low-altitude flight. This also contains a forward-looking infrared projected on the heads-up display. The AN/AAQ-14 targeting pod completes the lantern setup, allowing the Strike Eagle to designate targets for missiles and laser-guided bombs from as far as 10 kilometers away. For defensive avionics, the F-15E is fitted with the AN/ALR-56C radar warning system, the AN/ALQ-135 radar jammer, and an AN/ALQ-128 electronic warfare warning system. The warning systems are coupled with the AN/ALE-45 automatic flare and chaff dispenser. The F-15E, like the air superiority F-15 and nearly every other U.S. fighter in service since 1960, utilizes the M61 20mm Vulcan gun mounted on the starboard intake with 500 rounds of ammunition. There's really not much to talk about when it comes to the M61, as it's been in War Thunder for ages. For air-to-air missiles, the F-15E retains the air superiority capability of the F-15 Eagle, and as a result, has the capability to fire all the missiles the F-15 Eagle can. This includes the AIM-9 Sidewinder family from the AIM-9L to the AIM-9X, the Sparrow family from the AIM-7E2 to the AIM-7M, and the AMRAAM family from the AIM-120 to AIM-120C. For War Thunder, however, I feel that, as this will be one of the aircraft that is last to be added in the tech tree, I feel that it should be allowed to get its entire suite of air-to-air missiles, maybe not the latest AIM-120s, but in increments, as to not create a meta around one aircraft. I don't think the F-15E should get the AIM-9X or AIM-9M right away, along with the advanced AMRAAM variants or the AIM-7M, but it should be added slowly when comparable ordnance get added for other nations. As the Mudhen is a strike aircraft, let's see what ground ordnance it can carry. For bomb ordnance, the Strike Eagle is rated to carry nearly every bomb in the US arsenal. It could carry the general purpose Mark 80 series of bombs and its Paveways and JDAM counterparts. It can also drop the GBU-15 glide bomb and the rocket-powered variant, the AGM-130. Aside from the AGM-130, the Mudhen can also carry the latest Mavericks, the AGM Harpoon anti-ship missile and its advanced SLAM and SLAM-ER variants, and the AGM-88 HARP anti-radiation missile. Although I feel the 84 and 88 missiles should not be added yet, as long as we still don't have advanced ships or suppression of enemy air defense role aircraft. But when these mechanics get added, maybe the F-15E could have it when it's introduced. Although the Mud Hen can carry so much more than that, such as the B-63 nukes and cluster bomb munitions, but I believe these aren't fit for the game in its current state. Stuff like the JSO and JASM are just in that valley between overpowered and useless in the current game setup that I just don't see it being added or being useful when it is added. In a way, I think the Strike Eagle is the final revenge of the United States for being last in the scene when it comes to getting tech. China getting the F5 first, UK getting the Paveway and Pulse Dopplers first, and Japan getting the JDAM first. In my opinion, the F-15E Strike Eagle is going to be the American MiG-27 and will follow the bomber line in place of the strategic bombers. I really hope not, and that the F-15E would just be another F-15C, since more players grinded down the F4 line than the B-57 line, which has remained untouched since when the B-57 was added. The F-15 is probably also the culmination of every CASPAB complaint the US has ever been on the receiving end of, and I believe that the F-15 Strike Eagle will be one of the reasons that ground forces will expand further into higher battle ratings. There's no way that the F-15E could even be a match against 10.0 tanks in the current top-tier SPAA. The F-15E will probably round off the 4th generation fighter roster for the United States and might even be an early Tier 8 aircraft if aviation pushes that far. I wouldn't be crazy if I claimed that the F-15E Strike Eagle will be added well after the Super Hornet or the Block 52 F-16s, because that's just how capable it is. As I'm writing down this script, I'm actually having a difficult time thinking of a way to place this aircraft in the tech tree that will be balanced while working within War Thunder's current mechanics and game modes. The A-10 would be easier to balance than the Strike Eagle, as at least the A-10 can even break Mach, let alone do it with a thrust-to-weight ratio comparable to something like the Rafale. In Air RB, it'll be as good as the F-15C, and in Ground RB, it'll probably be even better than the Su-34 fullback. If it sounds like I'm singing praises of the F-15E, it's because there's no really other way to put it. The F-15E is probably the War Thunder textbook definition of overpowered, if added. For the F-15E Strike Eagle's placement in the tree, I believe it's best after the F-15C at very late Tier 7 or mid-Tier 8. At a battle rating of 15.7 or 16.0, I believe the F-15E should be the very last Generation 4 aircraft to be added, alongside the Su-30 or Su-35 series. At a research cost of 420,000 RP, purchase cost of 1.1 million Silver Lions, and crew train cost of 260,000 Silver Lions, I think the F-15 is a good round off to the US Air Force Air Superiority Fighter line. However, the thing I fear most are the event vehicles. The F-15I of Israel is based on the Strike Eagle, and it wouldn't be fun to get it as an event vehicle or a premium. There's also the F-15K Slam Eagle of Korea, with more ordnance options like the KEP-D350. Also, I think one cruise missile won't make the Slam Eagle instantly desirable. I think premium or event vehicles of this caliber are a hard no for me, and I'd much rather see them as tech tree vehicles folded under the F-15E. Lastly, the one thing I'd want to address in implementing the F-15E is the repair cost. I know for a fact that every powerful aircraft are known to have high repair costs in order for it to be balanced. Until now, I still can't play my F5E in MiG-21 BIS without worrying that I would lose a lot of Silver Lions trying to spade it. I'm going to reiterate that the repair cost system needs to be badly reworked before Generation 4 aircraft are to be added, let alone the F-15E Strike Eagle. The Mud Hen wasn't initially what I had in mind for my next video, but US feels so shafted this update that I felt that I could at least do this to give some US mates a reason to be excited for the fate of their tree. Any US mates are watching, hang in there. Thunder Chief will be there someday. I hate to admit it, but the Paveway and BGL series got me hyped. The JDAM, seeing how it works on the EJ Kai, perhaps not so much. Well, that's the F-15E Strike Eagle. I'm planning to do a new series, but I haven't quite gotten the idea together, so before that drops, I'll do some game mode suggestions for Air RB and see how it goes. As always, thank you for watching. This is the Dr. MD, returning to the base.